What's up, guys? Average Kiwi Guy here. How y'all doing? And I know it's been a while. It's been a while. I'm sorry. I just some stuff is happening. Stuff is happening here. Clearly, you see the boxes in the background, everything like that. I'm moving. I'm moving. The past couple of weeks and everything. It's just a lot of stuff has happened. It's kind of forcing us to go. It's nothing bad. It's nothing bad. It's just some unfortunate circumstances happened and meant that we kind of have to vacate the home, the premises and stuff. No big deal. Going to a far nicer place. A place where I get my own office and stuff like that. So that'd be sweet. Honestly, a better room to do recordings and stuff. It's not as big as this one and doesn't have as much echo. And I like right now I've got all my soundproofing down, so it's very echoey. And I'm sorry about that. We are running very bare bones here because I'm moving in a couple of days. So sorry about the lack of green screen and all the rest of it. But I could not miss. I could not miss probably one of the biggest releases of the year. Like for Marvel fans, this is it. This is it until obviously this Infinity War series is kind of broken up, I think, into two movies. But this is like the beginning of the end sort of thing, I could not miss that. I could not miss that because I love these movies. I absolutely love these Marvel movies. Like what they've done is fantastic. And, for 10 years to build up. Like I remember going and seeing Iron Man, like it all started with that. And for it to build up to this with the roster they have and the developed characters and everything, I was super looking forward to Infinity War. It was looking good. Looking forward to seeing what Thanos can do and all the rest of it. I had high hopes. I had high hopes for this film. And I think they delivered on that. I was very, very impressed with what they put up there. Not perfect, and we'll get into that, but I was very, very happy with it. But obviously, there are very big spoilers in this film. Very big ones that if you told someone who hadn't seen the film and they wanted to, they would probably be a little bit angry at you. So I don't want that. So first part of the review will be spoiler free. I will try and keep it as clean as possible. No big spoilers, no nothing. Stuff that we've seen in trailers and all the rest of it. That's it. Okay. Just my general impressions of it all, how I thought it went, and all the rest of it. Enough to give you a general idea on how the movie is, without spoiling it. Then we'll move into a spoiler section at the end, and I'll tell you guys when we're going there. Okay. So spoiler free section right now. Don't worry about it. So no spoilers. Okay. So you're good. Right, so Infinity War, or what I would like to say is the Thanos movie, because that was something that really got me in this film, was how much they followed Thanos' story. Like, this wasn't a villain that just sort of popped in, did something bad, and went away again into the shadows, slipped into the shadows. He was an actual main character that had his own arc through the story and had his own things and his own trials and tribulations and all the rest of it. And it was very cool to see. And it's something that Marvel villains have lacked. And that's always been Marvel films' biggest problem was villains. Villains were always the problem they had. It was either, they weren't grand enough, or they weren't, quite what they were meant to be, or the Avengers getting ripped apart by just a guy, just like this pissed off dad that ripped them apart, stuff like that. Like even Ultron never hit well. Like he just didn't feel like he had that impact that Ultron should have. Just stuff like that. Loki was probably the best one. Loki has probably been the best villain that we've had so far. And then I kind of put maybe Vulture in there too, for Spider-Man. But I was very happy with Thanos. I liked his power level. Just for everything that you believed Thanos was going to be like, I felt like he hit there. And he had some he had character to him. You kind of like, you sort of like love to hate him sort of thing, which I think every villain should be. Like he had this charisma to him that was quite, you're interested in what he was saying. He's just not like some guy rambling on about how he's going to destroy the world. He had reasons for it. In his head he thinks is right, as like all villains think, but the reasons he's doing all this stuff you could see his line of thinking in a way. Horrible, absolutely despicable, horrible, but it made sense. Yeah, his power level was fantastic. Like, just no one Avenger could ever go up against him, and that's what I wanted. I didn't want like the Avengers to be able to go toe to toe with him, even with him down a couple of Infinity Stones. Like, those stones are all powerful. Like, the things they can do can rival anyone's power. Seriously. So I was happy with where his power level was. I was happy with how the Avengers interacted with him and how he interacted with them. And he had some good, like, sort of and froze with different characters and conversations he had with them, the reasons and stuff. I liked him a lot. Josh Brolin did a fantastic job. I think he was a very good Thanos. I was a little worried with 3D, being a 3D villain. 3D villains don't tend to do so well. I mean, you look at some of the past DC films, you look at like Ultron as well. Ultron, obviously Ultron was going to be CG, but yeah, I was a little worried. I was a little worried about a full-on CG Thanos, but I think it went off well. There were some parts where I was like, they're trying to hide little things there with some shading and all that, but he felt like he fit. His size worked. The facial expression, the detail in him was enough. Even when he was fighting, I felt like it wasn't like blurred out in any way too much. I was very happy with the CGI in general, except for one part. We'll get to that. I can't really spoil too much on that because it's probably a little bit of a spoiler for the film, so that might be a spoiler section thing. But there is one moment in the film where you like, okay, this is like really old school CG sort of thing. It was, yeah. For those of you who have seen it, you will know what I'm probably talking about. But we'll leave that to the spoiler section. But yeah, I can't spoil that too much. But it took me back a little bit. Obviously, then you get to the rest of the cast and like the billions of heroes they've gotten there now. I will say it may have paid a little bit of a price for how many characters there were, because there were some that had to take a bit of a backseat. There were some that, we were maybe used to having more of a presence, kind of had to take a little bit of a side character feel, but still had big, moments, and I felt like every character had their moment, and they did well with that. But as a general flow through the movie, they did have to bring some characters back, push some forward. They're mainly the main ones, from the original Avengers, stuff like that. But they did pay a little bit of a price for how many heroes there were. And they also had to, because a lot of them are in different places, so they did have to cut to a lot of different places, and they're jumping around a little bit. I felt like they did it well. I felt like it wasn't like too like we're over here, then we're over here, then we're over here, we're over here, over here. Each scene kind of felt like it flowed into the next one, even though they were moving different locations. But I think that's just because there is so many heroes. There's so many, and it's everyone you can think of that's been the past 10 years. Like, even some that you might have forgotten show up at some point. There are a couple of ones that weren't there. I will, and they sort of did some story stuff there to say why. We'll get into that in spoilers, because I don't want to spoil anyone who's like, oh, like maybe that person's there. Like, no, I'll let you guys go and see the film. But there was I feel like sometimes, man, I really wish I could get more from that character, or maybe I wish I could see more of this character, but they're not, because there's just so many of them, and everyone has to get some screen time, and certain ones get a little more because they're a favorite character, they're the main guy, or they're the leaders and stuff. So yeah. But overall, I was very happy with pretty much everyone. I had no worries. The interactions between Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Pratt are fantastic. The interactions between Chris Pratt and Chris Hemsworth are fantastic. The entire Guardians and Thor is freaking fantastic. Like, there's a trailer, I'm pretty sure, that's like the Guardians picking up Thor and like Drax kind of like idolizing him. There's a lot of that, and Chris Pratt has some funny stuff with him. There is humor through this film. They do a like very Marvel thing. Like, even though it's a very serious, it's not the most happy. It's not Thor Ragnarok, right? It's not this like good time sort of like crash fight, all the rest of it. It is got some like very hard moments to it, very dark moments, and they sprinkle in a bit of funny parts, and like the whole crowd was laughing and all the rest of it. So typical Marvel humor, just someone stating the obvious and stuff. It's very simple stuff, but it seems to work, and it breaks up some of the seriousness of it sometimes. And I felt like it did a better job than what's of maybe like Ragnarok, where I felt like some places they didn't take stuff seriously enough. I felt like this one did that. So, but they had like fantastic people to do those roles. Like, there was like all the main guys did fantastic jobs. Story wise, I can't say specifically, how it relates to the actual comics. I have not read the Infinity comics. I've just seen glimpses here and there. But for the story of this one, and they generally go away from the comics, they take the broad idea and then, sort of mush it around to make it work. It's definitely, like I said, a bit of a Thanos sit-up film. It shows a lot of his past, like what he's been, gone through, his reasonings and stuff like that. But it also sets up for the next Avengers film as well. It's kind of like, I kind of liken it to likes of like Lord of the Rings, where the story is so long that they have to like cut it and then move to the next film. You know what I mean? Like, the film does end quite abruptly on a very grand note. Like, I won't say what it is, but it is definitely likes of, oh my god, what's going to happen next? Like, I wonder what's going to happen next. What's going to happen to this? Like, it's definitely got that feel. And the story plays to that. The story spreads throughout the entire sort of universe. Like, it's not just on Earth. There are places all over the place. Places that we've, Marvel fans may have want to see. May want to see. There's a lot. There are a couple of locations that I was like, damn, they're showing us this. Nice. Like, and the shots, the actual look at the planets and look at the places they went were fantastic. They really were. Obviously, you had the Wakanda and all that. The fantastic. That Black Panther, is just legit. It's a fantastic movie. So it's great to see that being set up in this as well. But the story had this, this desperation to it. Like, Thanos is just this all-powerful being. And none of the Avengers can stop him. They can't. They literally can't. There's no one on their team powerful enough to do it. Not by themselves. And even together, they can't. Because, once he has these stones, he's almost unstoppable. Like, the power they have. Like, literally can warp reality, turn back time, make you see things. Like, all this stuff. Like, it's crazy what it can do. And I will say the movie did a fantastic job of showing off those stones and what they're capable of doing. Like, the creative ways they did it, on a grand scale too. It's not just like little flashes of tricks, similar to the likes of Doctor Strange. Like, it was on a big, grand scale. And I loved that. Some of the fights were just like, this is awesome. Like, stuff out of comic books. Like, that's what you want to see, right? Like, when they, it's easy to draw stuff down and make it like seem right on a comic book, but to put it onto a film screen and make it work, they did a fantastic job. And it looks so good. It really does. I loved some of the fight scenes. Just how grand they were and how much the Infinity Stones played a part in it. And then, and like I said, with the desperation, because everyone is so fractured, because the team is so displaced and everyone's all over the place and trying to bring them all together. And, you got the Guardians coming in and all that. And they're all spread out. There's not enough of them to do anything about it. So they sort of have to deal with it on their own in a way. And, what they thought they had prepared, for, and what they thought they had, in defenses ready for, are no match type thing. So I loved that. I loved how it wasn't, oh, this is a big strong enemy, but it's okay. The Avengers are here and they're gonna beat anyone. It didn't play to that. It didn't play to that, and the story also sort of shows off a bit more like the evolution that the characters have had. Like Steve isn't the happy-go-lucky, like I'm a soldier boy type thing anymore. Like he's seen the world for what it is now, and he's he takes it the way it is. He's more of a realist now. But then you still have like Spider-Man, who's this young kid who's still learning. And he loves being around these older heroes and trying to find his place. And Thor, he's just gone through losing everything essentially, and it's like his people are on this ship. And then obviously at the end of Ragnarok, spoilers if you have not seen Ragnarok yet, but if you're watching this thing, watch Ragnarok first. Watch it on DVD, watch it, whatever you want to do. Watch that Ragnarok, then watch this. And Black Panther, you should have seen Black Panther too. But yeah, the story arc that Thor has gone through as well plays a role in it. So I loved how everything's like all these films that are all laid out have all meshed together into this one film, and then it probably will go to the next one and then thread out from there. Because you can't tell me like after these two films are done, whatever happens in them, obviously people potentially could die or not, like you don't know, but there will be some actors who may not want to continue on with their characters. So that's when you'd bring in the new heroes, as you try and bring in some new blood, and like so Captain Marvel and all the rest of it. Like that is where the future of the Marvel films will go. And the new Avengers will come along. So that will be quite cool. So I loved how the story used all that stuff. Used how they have grown over these years. And it was quite cool. But yeah, I mean, overall, it is a legit cool, great film. It's worthy of being that part one of this. Like, it's not complete and it's not perfect. Like I said, with having so many characters, it did feel like sometimes it couldn't focus on enough of them, and some of them had to sort of fall to the back a little bit, which was a bit disappointing. But I legit had a great time watching it. I'm a Marvel fan, through and through. I've loved these films from day one. 10 years worth of going to watch these films, well worth it. Well worth it. Absolutely loved it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And I got this guy. So it was a good day. It's been a crazy couple of weeks here, so it was nice to go to a film and have it turn out to be like what I wanted. It was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I mean, like, on a scale, I'd probably put it at a 9. Because it sets some stuff up too. Like, there is some big epic moments in this. Like, I can't fully describe it because it's been massive spoilers, and I don't want to do that. But yeah, it is a legit great film, and I loved it. I mean, this movie, it's tough to say exactly because of major spoilers, like stuff that would just ruin the movie if I told you if you hadn't seen it. But it is a must-see. Like, you have to go see it. Go and see it, for God's sake. Even if you have to go by yourself, go and see it. It is really, really good. Especially if you've watched these Marvel films. It's like, you've watched all the other ones, you gotta watch this one. It is great. It's fantastic. I loved it. Alright guys, we are going to head off into the spoilers section now, but thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. I am sorry I've been away for a couple of weeks. Like I said at the start of the video, just craziness happening around here. Obviously I'm moving. So give me another week maybe, then we'll be back into the full swing of things. I'll try and catch up on some stuff. We might not have the green screen for a little while, just until I can figure out the new place. I can't really screw into the walls or anything because it's rent. So yeah, I gotta figure out some stuff. There's some stands I might have to buy. But yeah, we'll definitely be getting back into the swing of things. Thank you very much for sticking with me. I see a lot of you guys sticking around. It's been great. The channel's pretty much stayed steady. Some brand new subscribers too. Like, guys, thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's been fantastic. I think we just passed 800 subs, which is awesome. Just I can't, just thank you guys enough. But we are pushing for that 1,000. We are pushing for that 1,000. That is still a goal. We might have to push that a little later in the year, goal wise, just because of the lack of content over the past sort of month, I guess. It's just been legit insane. So thank you very much for watching. If you are heading out now, spoiler section is incoming. Fair warning, a little Kiwi will pop up sort of here to say that we are heading into spoilers. And yeah, so thank you very much again, and I'll catch you next time. All right, spoiler section. Where do we start? Where do we start? So last warning, spoilers are incoming. This is big stuff. So if you do not want to be spoiled, turn the video off now, okay? All right, so spoiler section. Right. Like, legit, half the world died. Half the world died. Thanos wins. Thanos wins, which is what I kind of wanted. I wanted that. I wanted Thanos to win, and then what's left have to go and take him on and figure out a way to trick him, essentially. Because that's generally how the only way Thanos can actually be defeated is by tricking him and playing on his ego. So I was glad that he did win. He got all the stones, and he kind of did it without too much of a fuss. Like, really, it was only the combined sort of forces of, Tony, Spider-Man, like all that. They almost got the gauntlet off, but then Star-Lord kind of messed it all up when he found out about Gamora. But dude, like, so who died? So, well, I say die because I don't think that's gonna stay that way. Like, you can't tell me like you made Black Panther and that's gonna be it. Like, it's not gonna happen. So Black Panther, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, I think, Wanda, Vision potentially dead. I don't know if anything they did with in Wakanda might save him, because it's like, I know the thing got pulled out of him, but he could get rebooted. I don't know what will happen there. Star-Lord, Drax, Mantis. So pretty much all the Guardians bar Rocket. Groot, which was a bit of a sad one. It was like, no, it was like Groot, not again. Falcon, Bucky. I don't think War Machine did. War Machine die? I can't remember. Like, well, faded away. Then obviously at the end credit singles, you had Fury and Maria Hill. I think that's it. I think that's it. So, other than the Snap event, where everyone faded away, which I don't think are real deaths. I think they are going to come back. I don't think any of the major characters, other than Gamora. Gamora is a major character, and that was a big hit. Other than that, and Vision, I guess, but I think Vision could potentially come back. Other than those two, like, I don't think too many big characters died. Loki, I guess, is one, but he's not one of the main Avengers. And Heimdall is more of a support character, and I just think Idris Elba didn't really want to play Heimdall anymore, because he's kind of a big deal now. So that's a thing. So yeah, so a lot of that Snap event, like, I was like, seeing them all fade away, I was like, holy shit. Like, that would, and that's the thing you end on too. Like, that's what the movie ended on. And I love that. And just, freaking Thanos just sort of sitting there chilling in like his little like hut on this like sunrise planet, like just like, yep, I done my job. Like, I loved that. I loved that. I loved how Thanos kind of just won. And he everything he wanted to do, he did it. He did it. He got it done. Like, that's some crazy stuff. I loved that. I really did. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of that's going to get undone in the next film. Like, I really do. Like, I think most of those, the guys that had the Snap thing, I'm pretty sure that's all going to get undone. I don't know if Gamora and Loki, and then obviously Heimdall as well, would get undone as well. Depends on what things I think Doctor Strange might have set up. But yeah, that's definitely going to be an interesting thing there. Talking about Gamora, the whole Soul Stone thing. That was the thing about with like I said at the start of the review was like, you know, it's kind of like the Thanos movie, right? Because it showed him as well and how, you know, he cared about Gamora. Like he may have like used her as a weapon and all the rest of it, but he actually legit thought of her as a daughter. You know, he may have groomed her to be this assassin, but like she was probably the only person out of all of them that he actually grew fond of and thought of her like a daughter. And you know, the whole sacrificing her to get the Soul Stone, like with the tears coming down his eyes and the pain on him. Mind you, also having freaking Red Skull there as well. Like the Red Skull is like he got sucked away and now he's like I wouldn't say guardian, he's like the specter of the Soul Stone, like he guides them there and stuff and sees if they're worthy. Like that was interesting. But you know, seeing the pain on Thanos' face when he sacrificed Gamora, kind of it just added to it grew Thanos as a character. It allowed us to see more of him. He wasn't just this big bad guy, and that was it. Like it was really cool, and I thoroughly enjoyed the battle with Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Star-Lord, Drax, Mantis, and Thanos. That was probably one of the coolest character like fights in the entire thing. Like the whole, you know, him bringing down like basically a meteor shower from the moon. Like that's legit what happened. Like that was cool as hell. And like they almost got it. They almost got that gauntlet off. They almost got it. But then Star-Lord wrecks that. And I honestly thought that was gonna be Tony's death. I honestly thought like I was like, okay, here we go. This is it. Like he's gonna kill him. But then it like kind of looked like it's played out to be I think Doctor Strange's got a plan. And he's got a plan. Like I don't know if it's a pocket dimension or what, but it looks like he has a plan. Like he says like at the end like this was the only way. This is the only way because like remember he looked at all the options. He looked at all the scenarios. Like it was 14 million and something. He knows what was going to happen, and he said there was one way we win. And like Tony looks at him and like, you know, when he's fading away, he's like, that's the only way. That's going to play a massive role in the next one. I really do. Because, you know, that I think in the comics, that's what, you know, I think Doctor Strange plays a massive role in how they win. So I'm pretty sure it's that. So that's going to be cool to see. I'm really looking forward to that. Nidavellir. I think it's Nidavellir. The place, the big forge where Mjolnir was created and where they go to get Stormbreaker. Kind of like Stormbreaker, like I get it. But it just doesn't have that like, you know, freaking Mjolnir is like it doesn't have that Viking sound to it. It's just like Stormbreaker. Like it sounds cool, but yeah. This is where like the whole CGI thing kind of threw me for a loop a little bit here. They get Peter Dinklage to play Dwarf, right? He sounded so weird. It was like him speaking the way he does, but him trying to sound more grand than I meant to be. Like, I am a giant dwarf. Like, that sort of thing. It was weird. And there's the size, right? The size looked weird too. It just stuck out. Like, everything was flowing nicely. Then suddenly Peter Dinklage shows up and it's like, okay. It just didn't quite fit right, I guess. I mean, I liked the scenes. I liked how, you know, seeing it made like freaking Thor, like holding open the lens to this neutron star, like freaking, you know, dying star. Like, it was fucking awesome. Like I love that, and like seeing Stormbreaker be made, and Groot's like hand is the handle. Like that's cool. Like I love that. Like that is awesome, and it brings Thor's power level up again, which is kind of cool. But yeah, it was it was a little weird. It was a little weird just seeing Peter Dinklage show up, and I'm like, I think it's the way he was speaking. That was what got me. Like he was trying to act all, Norse god like, like all pretty much all Thor characters sound. That he was trying to sound more grand than I am, like sort of thing. It was like, Peter, just speak normally. Like it's okay. It sounded a little weird to me. And it just, yeah. But I did like that. I like that cool. And how like it was kind of like a road trip with Rocket, Thor, and Groot. Like I liked those three together. How he called him Rabbit and stuff. I did like that a lot. And how you can see how Thor's like rage is building. Like he's not quite. It's like he's lost everything. So yeah, that was kind of cool. Vision and Wanda, and how like they're together. It's a thing. And it's like, and they sort of set a timeline too. Like this is like a couple years after Civil War. So they've been like sneaking away together. Vision's like, I think he tells Tony like he's off on a maybe trying to hunt down the others or something, and like he's got to report in every so often. And Wanda does the same thing with the others, like the little Caps group. They all pop off together and they go have like a little a B&B in Scotland. Like they're just chilling out in bed and stuff. And I'm like, okay. Like, I guess you got to stop thinking of Vision as like a robot, because he's not. He's not an AI. He's not Jarvis. That's not him. He's more like an alien in a way. So it'd be like Star-Lord and Gamora. I guess that works that way. So it was a little weird, but I do think they used that relationship to make it more dramatic around the Mind Stone. So Vision comes up with this thing of like, Wanda is the only one who can actually prevent Thanos from getting the Mind Stone. And her powers, because she got those powers from the Mind Stone, they actually, somehow the power of the Mind Stone gave her those powers. She, with enough energy, she could actually shatter it. And that would destroy the Mind Stone, and Thanos would not be able to get the entire set. And that would at least not stop him from being able to use all 6 at once, and that would be it. That doesn't stop him, obviously. He just uses the time stone, reverses time, and takes it anyway. But I do think that was the whole point of that relation. They made that relationship more than them just being friends. Of more than Vision just having this, just sort of like, I want to protect you because you're like the only one who kind of gets me and treats me like a normal person sort of thing. They took it one step further into the romantic side to make it far more dramatic when Wanda finally has to do the whole thing. But yeah, they do give the reason why they take Vision to Wakanda, other than it being probably the most defensible, most powerful place on the planet. Like I'd go there anyway, even though they went there to try and separate the Mind Stone and Vision through the whole crazy technology that Wakanda has. But it has got the shield, it's got everything, it's got the freaking armies, it's got badass spiders and all the rest of it. It's got the technology, so yeah, it would definitely be the best place to defend. So that was the thing. I honestly thought like the Soul Stone was going to be at Wakanda. Like that's where I thought like the whole like thing giving, the vibranium all its power was the Soul Stone, but no, it was on another planet. And we've been through that stuff. So yeah, I was glad Wakanda played such a big role in that way. It was so important for Black Panther to come out when it did, and actually so close to Avengers, because it was still fresh in your mind. So that was cool. And then I guess like right at the end, after credits scene, they tease Captain Marvel. Nick Fury trying to send a message off to someone. He gets faded away. He just fades from existence. And the little thing going like sending, and then suddenly it shows a logo, and that logo was Captain Marvel. So we knew Captain Marvel was coming. So apparently Captain Marvel is supposed to come out before the next Avengers film, because that's supposed to come out 2019, which is next year. Because the next one we got is Ant-Man and the Wasp, then it's Captain Marvel, then untitled Avengers film. There's also says potential for a Spider-Man and a Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It's going to be interesting to see where Captain Marvel sits, like how they play that out as well. They could potentially do this where they do an origin story, they show her off, lead it, and her film leads up to the point where Nick Fury gives her the message, and that's like the final scene of her thing. Like she sends the message back, like, yeah, I'm on my way. Like that could be how they're gonna do her film. So I was thinking that potentially they could bring her in early in the Avengers film. I was kind of maybe hoping that she would show up in this one, like as a surprise. I guess she kind of did, in a way. She's just referred to. But yeah, I think that's definitely where I think how her movie's gonna go. Is like it's an origin story, leads all the way up to the point where she gets the call from Nick, and that leads straight into the next one. I would not be surprised if that's like, you know, the Black Panther is to this one. Like it's the one right before the next Avengers comes out. And then one thing I almost forgot was the lack of Hawkeye and Ant-Man. They basically say like, oh, they took deals with the government to go and be with their families because they felt quite tough on their families. So they're on house arrest. So they got stuff on their ankles, which I think explains why Ant-Man's kind of off on his own. Like it's going to be to see how his movie plays out, like where it is in time, and does it is in the aftermath of the Avengers. Like, hey, like half the population just vanished. Like, is that going to be a thing? Like, it's going to be interesting to find out. I think it's probably the next few trailers we see of Ant-Man. Maybe there might be one more for Ant-Man. Will show that. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on. And Hawkeye, I think, might just show up in the next one. Yeah, that might be it for him. He might just like, hey, I didn't vanish, but some of my family did, so I need to stop this guy. Like, I think that might be what happens. But yeah, no, it was a legit, really, really cool film. Like, great film. I gave it a 9 out of 10. I think it's worth a 9 out of 10. I think it was really good. Just the work that Marvel's done to develop these characters. Like this is what Justice League needed to be. You know what I mean? Like, maybe not on the grandest scale because they are like at like the first Avengers level right now, in DC. But yeah, it needed to be on this type of grand scale and have this excitement about it and have these developed characters in it. This is what you get. This is what you get when you put 10 years work into it, linking all your movies together to make it into one cohesive universe. That's what happened. Not perfect. It's not perfect by any means. Like I did say, like because of so many characters, it does jump a little bit and people can't get, you know, the people that maybe you want a little bit more attention, they get sort of pushed to the back. But I felt like each person got their moment. They got a cool moment. They got it like noticed. They got full center stage on the screen. But yeah, no, I was very, very impressed. Loved it. Extremely loved it. Probably my favorite Avengers film. Probably my favorite Avengers film. I won't say favorite Marvel film, but I think favorite Avengers. I'll have to think about that. I'm going again tonight, so I might be able to comment on that a little bit later. But yeah, well worth. Go and see it. No questions asked. Go. Just go. Don't worry about it. All right, guys. That's it for us. Thank you very much for watching. Like I said, when we're coming through to the spoiler section, thank you very much for putting up with me and my lack of content and stuff like that. Just craziness happening here in real life. Just, yeah, moving, everything. Give me a week or so. and we'll be back to hopefully full strength. Just got to work out some setup stuff at the new place. But honestly, I think it's for the best. It will be for the best. I'll actually have a kind of a separate office, which would be awesome. Things better for sound and all the rest of it. So no, it's something that's probably needed to happen a while ago. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. But yeah, we'll be back to full strength. Hopefully next week. We'll try and catch up on some stuff. I know like the new Venom trailer came out. Like so many cool trailers came out, and I haven't been able to do anything about it. So we'll be back on it. But yeah, so thank you very much for sticking around with me. Thank you to all the new subs. If you did like, hit that subscribe button, all that stuff. We are pushing for 1,000 to meet that new YouTube level restriction level for the partner program and all that stuff. Yeah. All right, guys. I'll catch you later. Peace. Bye.